Hey, what's going on YouTube? Millennial Trader here from the Millennial Trader YouTube channel. Today is January 18th, 2025. Sorry for being away the last 2 weeks since I last posted a video. I got a little bit preoccupied with some things earlier in the year, but that kind of gave us a little bit of opportunity to get a little bit more price data and kind of level set in terms of where we are in the crypto market. So with that, I'm going to focus on four coins today: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Cardano, using some technical analysis, some modern indicators, as well as Ichimoku Cloud and one of the institutional models that I heavily rely on because of its utility. So with that, let's just go right into the charts. So in the last video, I kind of said that there was an important level that I was watching in the crypto space for Bitcoin, that if it broke below it, then I could see Bitcoin retracing further downward right here into this 81,618 level. However, interestingly enough, over the past 3 weeks, or actually 4 weeks, you'll see that we were just kind of hanging around this $95,000 area. And because we didn't breach it, we now have a new signal confirming to the upside. So to me, that's bullish in that the 13 count that has been in the process of completing is still active. So there could potentially be another, let's say, 7 weeks, assuming that we continue to get higher highs, higher highs relative to the past 2 weeks. Then that'll complete the 13 count, and from there, we'll kind of get a little bit more information and market sentiment in terms of where we go next. But interestingly enough, I heavily rely on the Ichimoku clouds as well, and I generally use the lagging span as market's memory in terms of where we were historically in price relative to where the lagging span is. And so, why did the lagging span kind of bounce from where we see these two upward corrections? And that's partially related to the fact that those who are who know of the DeMark indicators were able to identify and see that this $95,000 level was critical for the maintenance of the bullish lean in the market. And so, those who were bearish attempted to push the price down further, but in the end, the bulls and those who knew of the indicator knew that this was an important level to support and defend in order for the continuation to the upside. So that's notable to me. We'll kind of see whether this has momentum and follow through leading into next week and maybe into the end of the month. But for the most part, I would say January has kind of been holding within this $95,000 level. So we'll see if this was just temporary and we come back down and retest it going into the end of the month. But to me, this is an important level because so long as we continue to hold this, you continue to want to be bullish the market. So that's notable. That's I guess that's interesting for me because in the next chart, my kind of thesis for 2025 is to be bullish Ethereum more so than Bitcoin. The last thing here, obviously MACD, we were kind of trailing downwards, potentially looking to cross this signal line, but we bounced, and we'll see where that lands going into the next couple of weeks. But for now, you know it's still a bullish environment, and you want to continue to be bullish Bitcoin um, for the time being. Okay, let's look at Ripple. So in the previous episode, I mentioned that I'm kind of leaning more so towards being bullish Ripple than Ethereum because, from a relative strength perspective, I saw that there was the potential for Ethereum to uh, have better price appreciation and momentum into 2025 relative to Bitcoin. And obviously, this week we're still we're still kind of hanging in there. We are above the cloud, which is acting as support, so that's notable. And you'll see with this large wick, with this candle, there has been a large wick on either side of the trading environment. So both bulls and bears have been reluctant, or at least in agreement, that the current price for this past week is kind of where they're directionally okay to close the week at. So we'll see how this play develops, but for the time being, we still have we just recently started a sequential and combo 1 signal, so potentially, depending on how the next few weeks play out, that could also set us up for progression back upwards to what I am still anticipating to potentially be, to retest this all-time high level of 4,000, because it was important from a market dynamic point of view, because it historically has held as notable resistance. And if I just remove this, you'll see, remove the Ichimoku clouds, you'll see, we've tested it multiple times. If I look at this on, let me just put this on a monthly chart so that it doesn't look so jumbled up. But, this level right here, interesting enough, that this 13 was basically the peak for all of 2022 until we 2021 until we retested it back in 2022. We bottomed back here in a 9, and obviously that was the start of this upward progression. We didn't necessarily get the true signal to go long until November of 2024, but this is more so on a long-term time frame. But had you identified this 9 as the low for for 2022, then you would have had significant gains from that point in time. But if I'm looking at this, like I said, on a more weekly time frame, this $4,000 level is important and has acted as support for months and months and months. We got that right there, this $4,000 level right here. So the market dynamics are not ready to cross this $4,000 level, but I anticipate that we will come back to retest that $4,000 level, and potentially, I guess my longer term upside target is 5,300. And what's kind of forming on the weekly time frame is we have this reverse head and shoulders pattern, which is considered a bullish technical pattern, but I'm not, I'm monitoring it and watching it, but I'm not, it doesn't necessarily give me FOMO or the need to go act all crazy. I'm just kind of trading based on how the charts are forming. And interestingly enough, similar to Bitcoin, this, for the past 4 weeks, we've kind of just been hanging around above this hidden level of support, 3,112. So for me, so long as we continue to hold that pattern, again, you still want to continue to be bullish Ethereum for the potential continuation to the upside of potentially 9 additional weeks. And you know, interestingly enough, the fact that we we topped out at a 9, and that was the height of the move. We bottomed on this 9, which was perfection. And had you gone long at this point, you would have been right directionally. So potentially we could potentially kind of move upwards over the next 9 weeks to maybe potentially retest this $4,000 level. And I say that because so long as we hold that 3,112 level, you want to continue to be bullish and long Ethereum. What I'm kind of monitoring as well as MACD is slowly starting to get tighter and tighter, meaning that the relative momentum is potentially starting to fade out. So it's not the be all signal, but it's something that I'm monitoring because the MACD potentially seems is a lagging indicator relative to the DeMark sequential model, which shows turns in the market in real time. So, like for example, this 9 on September 14th, the week of September 16th, was several weeks early, but directionally correct, whereas the MACD crossed, almost two months later. So that's why I say that the utility of the model is important. It's effective. You can use it in any time frame on any market for any particular security or commodity or currency. And so I trust it instinctively because of how effective it is. Okay, let's look at Ripple. So in the last video, I said that realistically, the only level of resistance was the all-time high made back in January, the week of January 1st, 2018. And as I previously mentioned, I was long in the $2 range. And, the fact that it held where it needed to, again, looking at the lagging span, it's, there's reasons why I utilize both models because, one, the lagging span confirms to an extent why certain DeMark models, or why the price continues to hold or breach certain points in the model because of the DeMark indicators that are being used and heavily relied upon by the largest institutions on Wall Street, and a lot of the trading firms and the pension funds, again, that utilize these models when they're making major moves in the market. So, the fact that it bottomed, the Ripple held this $2 support level. If I go back 26 time periods, which is what the lagging span is, it's the closed 26 periods into the past, it held this propulsion level, and then from there it bounced up in a major way. And as I said previously, I was starting to take profits at the 315 level, and then once again I sold literally at the all-time high of $3.35, or the previous all-time high of $3.35. Now the current model suggests that we have potentially 7 additional weeks of a bullish environment. So, that to me, if I'm looking at this, where could I potentially see Ripple? I at this point in time, I don't have any objective indicators, both on the weekly or the monthly time frame, to say where Ripple is potentially headed. And I say that because we're based essentially in blue sky territory. So there's going to be a lot of price discovery in this area, and so you're potentially going to see a battle both on the bullish and bearish side, trying to either retest the previous all-time high level of $3.35, or and if we hold that level, then there's potential for continuation to the upside. But again, if we breach it, with follow through over the next couple of weeks, then that could potentially be an intermediate top. If so, right now I'm currently flat in Ripple, meaning I don't have any current trades open. I've exited completely, taken my profits, and I'm just kind of waiting for the markets just to settle down and see where we go from here. The one good thing is the fact that MACD continues to experience significant momentum with the curve diverging in a significant way again. So, do I think we'll just continue to run up to $3.50? I'm not sure. It's possible, but I don't think we're going to get there in one shot. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks. So, let price kind of discover what is an acceptable area to both buy and sell. But so long as we continue to hold $3.03, then you can still be directionally bullish Ripple, and especially if you got in anywhere earlier in the dollar or $2 range, then you have a decent amount of unrealized gains that you're currently sitting on. So it doesn't make it's not wrong to potentially take profits and potentially lower your average cost. If I was going to put Ripple back on again, I would most likely wait for the price to come back down to either this $2.22 range, or if you're more aggressive, you can buy it at this $2.66 cent range, level, as that's probably better risk reward, because you have to think about, okay, like, where is your stop out point from here? If you're buying at these prices, you could potentially experience a full dollar drawdown at this point in time, right? And that's significant, especially even if you're putting $1,000 into this coin, right? A full dollar of drawdown is significant, and you potentially this candle could potentially be the top for Ripple, at least for the foreseeable future. But I'm not ready to call that, because again, the model suggests that you potentially have 7 additional weeks of further price appreciation. But risk reward, I generally wouldn't want to be putting on any new exposure until this 266 level is tapped. Okay, last but not least, let's take a look at Cardano. So I am also in Cardano. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been kind of building a position, and I kind of like how the way in which it's trading, because we've held the baseline, which is essentially the midpoint. The midpoint being the high and the low of the last 26 periods. The average of the last 26 week, in this particular case, weeks. So it's flat because the high and the low, there hasn't been any significant change in the high and the low for the last 26 periods, and so that's why this baseline is considered good support, because like I said, there hasn't been much change in the relative top, being this candle right here, and the bottom here. So it'll probably take several more weeks before the baseline shape changes, and obviously the conversion line is the midpoint of the previous nine periods. So that one will change faster than the baseline, just because of it's using a shorter time frame, and so that just indicates the relative strength in the short term. So for me, if I was as I'm currently in Cardano, I am technically playing for this $1.30 to hit. And I say that because, we held the baseline, we've held the conversion line, we've tested this propulsion momentum level, and the fact that we're currently trading above it, to me, potentially signals that we're going to be testing this $1.30 level in the near future. This is also a coin that I'm potentially thinking of developing a longer term position, because I think when I was looking at the relative strength of Cardano versus Bitcoin, yeah, so right now it's currently testing this resistance line in the cloud, and if we push past it and we hold it, then that to me signals that, again, Cardano is potentially going to be another coin that could potentially outperform Bitcoin into 2025. So, right now I'm kind of tactically trading it to the 130 level. And if we happen to cross, if price happens to cross above this, the top of the cloud and hold, then I might actually also start build a position in Cardano for 2025, because that this long-standing support line, cloud line, would act as good support from a risk to reward trading level. So, that's kind of what I'm looking at for the time being. Bitcoin is currently bullish. You want to continue to stay bullish in the crypto market. If you're trying to be if you're trying to short Bitcoin or any of these coins in general, you're most likely in those shorts for a short period of time, because the relative strength is to the upside. And so, risk reward, you're probably going to end up getting stopped out more often than not if you're playing to the short side versus just being long the cryptocurrency space. And for me personally, I am long Ethereum. I'm also long Cardano, and I also have Bitcoin because I saw that this $95,000 level held as support, so I bought at that point in time. And for Bitcoin specifically, I'm expecting us to now test this 111,875 level before I'm willing to take any exposure off from that side. So that's it for today. It's kind of a shorter video. I wanted to just kind of check in, give the viewers some feedback in terms of what I'm seeing in the marketplace, and that's all for now. I'll post another video hopefully sometime this week, and this coming week, and we'll check in on the market space at that point in time. I'm also looking to, I haven't decided when, it might be something in February, but to now also add a stock market video, and potentially go over a few individual trades just based on the technical analysis indicators and the institutional models that I'm using, as well as to show you the effectiveness and the utility of why I continue to harp on them. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot. If you like this video, subscribe, like the video, comment, let me know if there's any coins that you want me to cover in the future, and that's it.